Today, we're going to be discussing monolithic architecture. Now, what is a monolithic architecture? A monolithic architecture simply packages all the components of a system together, right? Both the user interface, the business logic, the data access layer. It basically combines all of it into a single unified code base and deployment unit. So it's essentially the code is all together and it's all deployed together. That is all the different features, they're all in one code. Everything lives together. They share the same memory, they share the same resources, and they are deployed as one cohesive unit. Whilst this is um, unpopular for most, it is really still very popular for early stage startups. And there are a lot of strengths and there are a lot of weaknesses. One of these strengths includes faster development time. If you are trying to build your MVP, a simple monolith architecture would work, whereby you can deploy all of this in one unit and it uses the same storage, right? Now, the truth is, a few strengths I could mention is it's easy to develop, right? It's easy to develop early, right? You simply have one code base. It simplifies your deployment and your development. It enables simple things like for you to iterate very fast, and it's very straightforward for debugging. Another point here is simple operations. So you can deploy everything at once with one single command, no complexity, no complexity in terms of its orchestration or service discovery required. Another point we can make here is that it is very easy for small teams. A team of two, three people, you have the same code base and you can easily manipulate and deploy as fast as possible. Everyone can work with the same code base and it reduces all those coordination that needs to happen. But there are limitations, right? As you scale, as you build a system that grows, there are limitations. And some of these limitations include it is tightly coupled. What does this mean? All of the components are interdependent of one another. So when you change one part, it requires redeploying the entire system. Say, for example, something you need to change on one part of the system would require a fresh deployment of the entire system, right? Um, Number two here is scaling limits. And so you can only scale by running multiple copies of the entire application, not individual components, right? Another point here is that it becomes unwieldy, right? So as your application grows large, the monolith starts to risk becoming one big ball of mold, right? Or I would say one big ball of mud, really. That is difficult to understand and for you to sort of modify over time. But the truth is, when do you use a monolithic architecture? Because a monolithic architecture is not a bad architectural pattern. But when do you use it? It is very useful at early stage applications, right? For prototyping or for small teams that they want to build things straightforward, right? It's also perfectly appropriate for internal tools that you want to build, internal tools that will probably never have more than 100 users. That is probably more than 100 developers are going to use those internal tools with systems that are just predictable and the scale of that system is limited, right? So don't dismiss monoliths because it's not big and it doesn't scale fast. You can use it for internal systems, and internal systems are better served as monoliths and they save you money. There are many successful applications that they run happily on well designed monoliths, right? So don't underestimate what monoliths can do. It's easy to scale, it is easy to develop, and it has simpler operations more than other design patterns, really.